I think one of the key elements of digital really here is how the customer is changing. And that's really the reason why we have to look aggressively at digital. See, essentially, if you look over the last 5 to 7 years, there have been a lot of changes which have taken place through technology, where primarily the emergence of course, the internet, the smartphone, and WhatsApp, etc. All of these technologies have made a significant transformation in the way people are now interacting with brands, with companies online. And that's the reason why we need to look at digital. And even for IFAs, I think there are a lot of key elements which we need to get in place. Are there any questions you all have which I could potentially address in my presentation? Yes. Okay. Yes.
Do you think that things can ever move to the investment world the way they've moved in, say, the e-commerce space?
Right.
Today, most of us buy books online, most
absolutely.
of us buy air tickets online. Do you think that could ever happen in financial services, which are a lot more complex than buying a book?
See, I think it's a very good question. I think increasingly, I think, Prem, you're going to see that happen. I mean, if you think about it 5 years ago, 7 years ago, who would have imagined that you would have cars being driven by computers? And Google and many other companies now, Audi, etc., and pretty much every large car company in the world is actually building autonomous cars. So with artificial intelligence, I think you will be able to tailor plans, tailor what people want to their needs. And I think digital is a sort of monotonic, secular shift that we are seeing in the world. So I do think that this is going to happen, and that's why digital becomes very important. See, the primary driver is that the customer is digital. The people are, by 2019, we are going to have 600 million people in India with smartphones, better than what any of us are using today, on networks faster than what any of us are using today, one in every household of the country. 3 or few days ago, we saw the ad in the front page of Times of India, smartphone for less than 3,000 rupees. Now, these are significant shifts which are taking place. So in a way, India may leapfrog the sort of desktop world straight into the smartphone world. But the digital part, I think, is an absolute given. And it's up to companies now to create the backends and intelligence to really see how customization can take place. And I'm going to cover some of that in the presentation. So next slide, please. As I was saying, I think it's very important. We are all there because we are serving customers. Peter Drucker said this: business has only 2 functions, innovation and marketing. And for many of you here, the primary focus really is around marketing and building the customer relationship. Next. See, this is really, if you're seeing today, a lot of our habits in e-commerce, ticket booking, etc., we are all becoming digital. We are all becoming social. Many of us have, either through WhatsApp and through Facebook, etc., the outreach that we have, the relationships that we have with people have significantly increased. The third important trend is that customers are empowered with a lot of information. Today, people can do online searches or even ask their friends on WhatsApp what they are doing, and they have answers. So the role of the IFA in this context has to change, has to evolve, because this ability, the first part of the process, of the selling process, the information, can actually be discovered in many cases by the customer. Next, please. Now, how is the customer changing? Customers are connected 24/7. The phone is there with them all the time. The contacts are there in their list, hundreds of them for all of us. They have a persistent identity, so the phone number, the email ID, they persist. They are always there. When they browse on the internet, for example, when they are browsing mutual fund sites or wherever, they are leaving information which can then be used for personalization. And we'll talk later about how companies are already starting to do that. The experience, online experience is what matters. When you go and look at e-commerce sites, you always see if there's an experience that is not very good, then you don't want to go back again. Very important, every customer expects to be treated differently. And again, we'll see later why this is important. The mobile is really the first experience for people. For many, it's the only device that they have. And they also are able to share feedback in real time. So the ability to interact with other people is there. The ability to respond back to the companies is there. You see on Twitter, for example, some of this is real time. If you have a bad experience, you're not going to wait and only tell it to maybe 1 or 2 other people. Today, you can share it with hundreds or thousands very, very quickly. Next. And the expectations, therefore, of customers is changing. People want to be treated uniquely. People want to be treated as if the company is only serving them. They really want a 24/7 salesperson. Again, through digital, you can always be available. So wherever you are, you'll be on your customer's WhatsApp or equivalent. So they can ask you a question, you can respond back very quickly. They want things now. So people's patience levels sort of are coming down. The urgency, the immediacy of now is there. Again, a lot of these things are happening in our consumer space, but these same ideas really are applying when we are interacting with enterprises, with others who are selling to us. Think of my lifetime value, reward my loyalty, track my purchases, because all of this is now possible. So based on all of this, it's now possible to tailor individual products, individual sites, individual pages for what people see. They want ideas for a better lifestyle. So you can build relationships by persuading them. Like in the previous session, we heard on retirement. Not all of them may be ready right away, but you can actually start them, for example, on a content journey. If you sell them one newsletter, one article, or some tips, or some suggestions, some quotations from other people who have done that. We had excellent set of quotes today, which were there. Now, you start them on a content journey, and bit by bit, the persuasion job becomes easier without you even being physically there to talk to your customer every time. They also want you to anticipate what they are going to want next. So these are the things where the customer is changing. And that has big repercussions on how we therefore do business. Next, please. A very good quote by Ram Charan, a famous management consultant, from his new book, The Attacker's Advantage. With companies able to collect and control information on the entire experience of a customer, the math house, which is every company. Today, there's a lot of data available with companies. So that can be crunched by computers on the back end. So the math house now can focus on each customer as an individual. In a manner of speaking, we are evolving back to the artisan model of 100, 200 years ago, or like the Kirana store model in some ways, where a market segment comprises one individual. So how do you make your customer feel special? And that is where, again, technology can help play a role going forward. Next. So if you look at marketing in a digital world, the 3 things which are very important is speed. People expect very fast responses, real-time responses. The reach, you can reach much larger number of people than was possible. You hear stories now of small businesses putting their goods out on e-commerce stores and now getting orders from across the world. The same sort of opportunity can also become there for IFAs going forward. Relevance, being able to do targeted and personalized campaigns. And we'll talk about this in a minute. Next. So whether it's a large mutual fund or whether it is an IFA, there is technology, marketing technology, can help at every stage. For leads, in respect to the customer onboarding process, like let's say a customer starts on any of the plans that are there. Over the first few days, if you can reiterate the benefits of the plan, and this goes out automatically via SMS or email automatically, so you don't have to think about it, it just goes out. This helps create that reinforcement feeling which is there in the customer. And as you collect data about the customer, it can also help you in cleaning it up, probably for some of the larger companies which are there. Next. Now, for the IFA, I think there is a very significant advantage which is there, which is that you already have the personal customer relationship, as opposed to banks. Banks have a large number of customers. That relationship is not necessarily personal. Now, banks are using technologies like marketing automation for doing this personalization. So they're using technology to help them build the one-to-one relationships. Now, for the IFA, therefore, the question is, how can you use technology to enhance the relationship? Next, please. Now, there are technology building blocks, which can be very useful. So there is Google Apps. I would strongly recommend that you set, if you're running your own business, Google Apps can be a big, big plus. You can set up CRM in Google Sheets. And the advantage is this can then be shared through Google Drive across multiple computers. It can be available to you on your Android phone. You can use tools like MailChimp for email marketing, SMS, which is there to be able to send out to a larger number of people who are there. Android can also help you with the auto sync feature that is there. Next. Now, a few simple starting points when we look at engagement, acquisition and engagement, what can be done. So establishing a web presence helps in terms of a website plus a presence on sometimes LinkedIn, Facebook, because this is also where you'll find some of your customers today present. Collecting email addresses, mobile numbers at events which are there, cleaning that up to ensure that you have a very good updated database, and then being able to use emails. So if you have happy customers, can you send them regular periodic mails which let them, where they recommend you to other people? Affiliate marketing to be able to get newer opportunities which are there. Again, some of these things will depend on the size, but these are, again, ideas where you can use digital. Lead nurturing. So sometimes you go and meet a person and he says, look, I'm not ready, I want to think about it. Can you start them on a content program automatically? You know, what are the benefits of a specific a plan that is there? Send them an email maybe once a week. And then you'll realize that maybe in 4 or 5 times of sending these out, the customer maybe or the person is interested, and therefore you can then do the conversation. Next. Same thing applies to engagement. When you have a customer, how can you use personalized communications to tailor the message? Emails which can be read both on PC and on the mobile, what are called responsive emails. Regular SMSs to be sent out. Again, to a large number of people, you can send out automatically. Email and SMS integration, and we'll see an example right away. Behavioral targeting. So again, for the larger organizations, how do you use logic-based recommendations based on behavior? Next. This is a very interesting example, simple case study from UTI Mutual Fund, where they sent out an email about an NFO. The customer doesn't open the email. The second email and SMS this time is sent out, and that's first level of automation. So you only send out to people who have not opened. Customer opens email too, and then the voice call automatically can get triggered to email people who have opened email and so on. This achieved a big lift in sales for them online. So the question Prem had asked in the beginning, how can online make a difference? Customers are there and you can have significant impact out here. And if you use automation, very simple technologies are available for automation. It can help streamline the process. You don't have to keep remembering, today I have to send this mail out to that person and so on. A lot of these things can be automated. Next, and the last slide, we have a small video which helps you show about how personalized communications can basically help. We need the sound.
Every day your customers leave behind digital footprints. When they shop, interact, or search for information. So your customer's journey goes along, according to these known dots. Decisions and solutions are based on these dots, as well as many conversions too. It's connecting these dots that potentially changes everything for businesses. For when you connect it right, you reduce your sales cycle and speed up conversions. Our client, a leading life insurance company in India, faced the issue of slow conversions on email. Customers who showed interest took time to convert. We needed to relook at the customer's digital journey and make miracles happen in email to close sales faster. The idea was to connect the uncommon fragmented dots to get a fuller picture of the customer. Once our client could get a 360-degree view of his customers, our next step was to innovate email so new touch points emerge. We did this by having a click-to-call button in email. Clicking the button triggers an instant call to client's customer care. Once customer care picks up the call, it is immediately patched with customer. This way, We could add human touch to emails and take personalization to a whole new level. Customer gets information at the very instance that he expressed interest. We could drastically shorten the sales cycle and simultaneously reduce the cost of sales. So how did our innovation in email work? Client saw a 45% increase in click rates and over 80% of the customer care calls were answered. Overall, this single campaign saw a 40% sales conversion. You too can benefit from the power of
Thank you very
humanizing
much.
emails.
So this gives you an idea of
Get in
how
touch with
technology
us
can
now.
start helping you in your business. Thank you.
These IFAs perhaps may not be as resourceful as some of your clients. So what would be a more simple solution for them? Because the example that you gave of the...
Yeah, like I said earlier, Prem, things like tools like MailChimp, Google Apps, simple SMS utilities which are there, they can all help. And actually you can synchronize it with the Android device.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, so you can synchronize all your documents. Everything is then available on a phone even when they are traveling. So today the good thing is that you don't have to be a large company to leverage technology for building the customer relationship. There are lots of simple solutions, which I said on one of the slides, which can actually help IFAs immediately.
Great, thanks.
Thank you.